I decided I wanted to frame one of my favorite Atari games. I found a great frame. It's cheap. It's the Ikea Ribba frame. Looks good from the front. Not super well built, but would do the job. Problem is it's set up for a 2-dimensional picture and not a 3-dimensional object. If only these points were set further back in the frame so that I could put a 3-dimensional object in here, I'd be golden. Well, today I'm going to move the points on this Ikea frame further back in the frame to allow for an object with way more depth than just a photograph or a picture to fit. If you want to see how I turn this Ikea Ribba frame into a shadow box that will take a 3-dimensional object, stay with me till the end. But for now, let's get going. So the Ikea Ribba frame is really cheap. This is a $4 frame. Problem is, the Ribba, like so many picture frames, has the points at the front, so it'll press a photo into itself, or a picture, anything 2 dimensions, but it won't allow for something thicker like an Atari game to fit into the frame. The frame is deep enough, but the points here, these little metallic bendy guys, they're in the wrong spot. So today I'm gonna fix it. First step, I'm gonna take the frame apart. I'm gonna take everything out. I'm going to discard the little piece of paper that comes with it. I'm not gonna use the mat, so that'll go off to the side too. And this perspex that they use instead of glass, I find kind of irritating. It's not going to protect the game from any UV light. It doesn't look very nice. I'm going to get rid of the perspex too. Next step, I got to pull out the points. Points are these little metallic bendy guys. You're pretty familiar with them if you've ever put a picture frame together. Problem for me, they're way too close to the front to allow for an Atari game to enter into this frame, so out they come. It's very easy. Just some needle nose pliers and out come the points. They barely even get damaged. Next step up, I use the perspex, put it on a piece of paper. This is just plain old white printer paper. The perspex is the size of the interior of the frame, so I'm going to use that as a model. I'm going to grab my rotary cutter here, and I'm going to cut a piece of paper exactly the same size as the perspex. Then I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm going to glue it to the backing of the frame. I have to do this step because the hole in the mat they gave me is just a little too big and won't accommodate the Atari cartridge perfectly, so I can't use the mat, so I got to get something white in there. I'm just going to use this piece of paper. Now it's white. You could cut a piece of picture frame mat if that's what you wanted to do, but for me, quick and dirty is the way to go. Next step, I got to replace that perspex that I don't want to use because it's not glass. I went to the dollar store, I found this frame. It has a piece of glass that's the perfect size. So for 99 cents, I figured I couldn't go wrong. I'm going to pull the glass out of that and use that in the front of my picture frame. So now everything's pretty much ready for assembly. I just have to figure out how deep everything's going to go when it's all assembled and in the frame. So in goes the glass, fits in there kind of nice. Next, I'm going to line up the Atari game face out, and then I'm going to put my frame backing on here that has the white piece of paper that I just glued onto it, and now I've got a depth. I know exactly where I want to put the points to hold this whole schmazzola together. So I'm just going to take a ballpoint pen here, pretty easy, mark where the backing of the frame ends up once it's all sandwiched together, and I just mark each side of the frame with my ballpoint pen. Shows up nice on the white. It's going to be on the back of the frame, no one's going to see it. And now I've got a line that I can tap my points back into. There is a tool for this, by the way. If you want to be super serious about it, there is a point gun you can buy. Lee Valley sells them. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below if you're interested. I don't have one. I've never used one. And because I'm not a serious picture framer, I didn't think buying another tool made any sense. I thought maybe I'd just try to recycle the points I've got. And this works easily because the wood is really soft. It's not the most expensive wood in the world. I'm just going to put my flathead screwdriver, which is about the same width as the point I'd like to reinsert. I'm going to lay it right on this line and give it a tap. I'm going to do that all the way around, just translating the holes that were there previously onto my line and at my new depth. And then it's pretty simple. I just take the needle nose pliers I used to remove the points in the first place, pinch them, hold them, put them in place, and tap the back of them with a hammer. So I tap all 4 in there and they're all looking pretty good. Then it's just a question of bending them back to make room for my sandwich of stuff. Then in goes the glass, in goes the game, very careful to center it exactly where I want it. If I really wanted to be serious about this, I could put a piece of snot tape on the back of the game to hold it against the backing of the frame, but I know the game is pretty light and I know that friction will just hold it. So I'm gonna go with no adhesive at all. Then behind the game, I'm going to put the frame backing and bend down my points, then turn it over and I'm done. Look at that. Total cost, $5. Cool, hey? So how about you guys? Have you ever tried to put a 3-dimensional object into a 2-dimensional purposed picture frame? If you have, I want to hear about it. Leave all those stories in the comments section below. And otherwise, I hope that helped you out. If it did, please feel free to like or subscribe. Liking and subscribing can really help a channel, and if you could do that for this channel, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, take care, stay safe, have fun with your DIY projects, and I'll see you next Saturday.